I love Dark Souls, and if you're watching this, chances are you do too. I want to preface this video by saying that I am fairly new to the Souls franchise. I discovered From Software games about 6 months ago, and they have been an absolute game changer for me. They have completely reinvigorated my love for gaming, and it couldn't have come at a better time. I'd been struggling for what felt like years to find a game or franchise that would bring me back to my better days of gaming. The days of becoming totally immersed and borderline obsessed with the creation at hand. I had been sucked into the trap of copy and paste sports titles and other yearly rehashed games. I was dead inside when it came to my time gaming. Essentially just passing the time while only feeling so-so about the process. One day, while searching for a new game title, I saw Dark Souls on Game Pass. It was like I had an epiphany. I had heard of these games in passing, but had never played. The lore of the extreme difficulty was intriguing, and I was desperate for something new and captivating. I said out loud that I was going to play this game until I completed it, and I did. With all that being said, I had decided that after many playthroughs of Dark Souls 1, I wanted to see how long I could play without dying. I had previously done this with Elden Ring and not made it very far at all. After quite a few attempts, that sounds like an understatement, probably 150 hours of time played, I had managed to get to Ornstein and Smo with only one death, and then was able to beat them on my second attempt. A fight I had been previously stuck on for what felt like and probably was hours. That's when I thought, I just might be able to do this. And I did do it. I took it slow and completed the base game over the course of 6 hours. A massive accomplishment for somebody that struggled so mightily just to get through their first playthrough. I never thought that I would be able to do something like that. What an accomplishment. The only problem was that I didn't capture this the way I wanted to in a stream format. I'm limited to when I can record in that format, and knew that if I only practiced the no death run in that format, I would never be able to beat it. So I only recorded the gameplay, since I can easily do that whenever I sit down to play, no matter what's going on. I was feeling pretty confident in my ability to do it a second time, and decided to try and do it over a 3-night period. Figuring it would be about 2 hours per recording based on my last completion time. I was right on track, and everything was going pretty smooth for the most part. Well, except for a few of the boss battles. I really hate that damn centipede. No matter how many times I fight that centipede, no matter how many strategy videos I watch, he always seems to almost get the better of me. I marched my way through and uploaded my first 2 parts to YouTube. Excited for everyone to be able to join in and watch. Excited to share pointers with the new player, since I still consider myself to be a new player. I made it all the way to Gwyn, feeling confident, feeling prepared. I had done this before. I could do this. And well, I choked. I absolutely choked. 6 hours into the playthrough on the final boss, I couldn't pull it off. I blew the parry windows, panic rolled, tried to heal when I wasn't safe. It was amateur hour at best. I managed to beat him on the 3rd attempt, still skating through the game with only 2 deaths. Still a great playthrough, something to be proud of, especially when looking back at how far I had come. I was excited to share this honest content with everyone and complete my first Souls playthrough video series, but I ran into an issue when trying to put together the 3rd and final video. I couldn't find the gameplay footage anywhere. I searched every folder in my entire computer. Nothing. I deleted it. I finished that playthrough at 1:30 in the morning, defeated after dying to Gwyn, went to bed, didn't label the file, didn't transfer it to the correct folder for later editing, and it got deleted days later. Rookie mistake? Yay for me. I felt true heartbreak in that moment of realization. I sat in silence for a few minutes and decided the only way to make me feel better was to make a video like this so it wasn't all for nothing. So for your enjoyment, here is my camera footage of me dying to Gwyn to end the no death run. Here we go. Here we go. Oh my god, no way. I panicked. I fucking panicked. You had one job, guy. Well, two. Defeat Gwyn and keep the gameplay safe. You couldn't do either. I know it's not the end of the world. You might even be saying, what's such a big deal? You lost gameplay footage of the end of a failed no death run. It's a big deal because regardless of the outcome, I was so excited to put this video out. I used 3 nights over the holidays to do it, and so much commitment and practice went into this, even if I ended up losing it at the end. I thought that it was almost a little imperfectly perfect the way it turned out. Honest content. I say all this to say, give me your sympathy. I'm sorry to any of you guys that were waiting on a third part. I will be re-recording a 2-parter in hopes of getting my second no death run completed with pointers. But now I have a question. Just what is it about Dark Souls that makes it so addicting? What is so captivating about a game with, let's be honest, an extremely simple formula? I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I can tell you this. I could play the first half of this game over and over for the rest of my life and die a happy man. We don't need to dredge up the notorious second half of the game, even though I don't think it's nearly as bad as everyone says. As frustrated as I was upon dying during the trials and errors of my no death run attempt, there was always a sense of peace running through Firelink Shrine and onward to the Undead Burg. Even if it was for the 50th time in a few weeks, it didn't matter. The creation of a ridiculous character and the excitement of another opportunity was enough to keep me going. There were numerous conversations I had with my friends and family about how this no death run practice was eating me alive. It was testing every fiber of patience I had in my soul, but I couldn't give up. I had already told so many people that I had more than 50 hours invested in just attempting no death runs, and that was probably a lowball number. I couldn't just give up after coming that far. It's already a ridiculous concept to explain to a non-gamer that you are 50 to 100 hours deep in attempting not to die a single time in one of the most widely considered hardest games ever made. Let alone for them to follow up with you, and you have to explain that you just couldn't get the job done. Couldn't be me. The hardest parts for me through the attempts was making it all the way to the Tomb of Giants or somewhere near endgame, dying, but understanding what went wrong and being confident that it won't happen again, to dying at the 3-hour mark in Sen's Fortress or Anne Orlando twice in a row, and then an accidental death in the depths on the next one. That's around 8 hours of gameplay in areas that you once felt were no issue anymore. But that's Dark Souls for you. Anytime I find myself taking this game lightly, I swiftly die, and die, and die some more. Respect the game. I heard someone say that about Dark Souls one time, and I found it to be kind of cheesy. Now, I think it may be the best advice you can give someone. This game does not give breaks. Okay, occasional glitches that break bosses, but that's besides the point. Once you get relaxed and loosen up, start walking with swagger, two-handing everything while naked fast rolling, it'll get you when you're least expecting it. An area that you've ran through 1,000 times and can do with your eyes closed? Not today, bud. The Hollows trapped you in a corner and shanked you like a typical night in London. Respect the game. Just kidding about the London part. Respect the game. And I think this concept lends a hand to how people commonly describe the game. Fair. The gameplay is fair, and that may be a better way of describing it than difficult. If you play the game as if dying has a real consequence, which it does, you will have a much better time with less regrettable actions. If you play fast-paced with no precautions, your risks will massively increase. That's fair and reasonable. But don't get me wrong, if you would have presented this reasoning to me on my first playthrough, I would have told you that you were full of shit. An elitist that has no life, and that's the only reason that you can get so good at this game. Okay, I wouldn't have said all that, but I would have been pretty resentful internally because quite frankly, no matter what strategy I brought to the table during my first playthrough, I got absolutely wrecked, continually, with little hope in sight. And that's good. And why is that good? Because it makes you respect the game. I just wanted to say that one more time. This game will force you to get good, or it will watch you suffer, and that's fair. The path for me of pondering on the idea that I had simply grown out of gaming to sharing my love and affection for Dark Souls in a public setting all happened within a 6-month period. I'd consider that a pretty drastic shift. Once I got through my first playthrough of Dark Souls, I knew I couldn't stop there. Even though I had heard rumblings of Dark Souls 2 being the black sheep of the trilogy, I decided to play them all. I was so gung-ho about completing all of these games that I almost feel like I played them on autopilot. I went from 1 into 2 and 3 and Elden Ring with no breaks in between. I was on a mission to consume as much content from this company that had breathed new life into my gaming adventure as I could. Now, I'm going through them again, circling back with a newfound appreciation for the Souls franchise and a more seasoned outlook. Having more experience and not as hard of a time with the games, I feel like I can observe more freely and take the time to appreciate the games more. I will continue to push these games onto other people like an overbearing solicitor at your door, especially my brother who is stuck on Fortnite and Call of Duty. No hate, just saying. I'm not exactly sure what the agenda for this video was, or if there even was one. I guess I just wanted the chance to elaborate on what Dark Souls has done for my gaming enjoyment, and hopefully what it has done for yours. Plus, this video will serve as a reminder for me to remember to label my fucking footage. Don't be like me, guys. Stay organized and never go hollow.